Sorry.
Well, maybe. And I mentioned too, I think in the reminder email, hopefully if you have a bolster or some folded blankets or just some kind of support, if you could just have that nearby. So we'll be doing some yin type postures that you might want a pillow or some kind of support for. Bridget, hi Tina.
Hi, how's your knee?
It's getting there. I've been doing acupuncture now.
Oh,
Yeah, the next thing I discovered was that I had pinched nerves in my lower back.
ooh,
Yeah, because it wasn't just
That's
my knee,
bad.
it was the whole lower region of my knees, my ankles, my feet, and
oh dear.
the lady has been just amazing. So yeah, getting there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, only
It's
going
been a
for
long,
but-
yeah, been a long thing.
yeah,
I can't remember when you did it. When was it?
January.
When it happened? January, right.
Oh,
A
wow.
long time.
I know, so it's close to 5. Yeah, the soft tissues take a while to heal, and then I guess I must have had other things going on as well.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's easier to just break something than to go through the, tendons and all that.
Yeah, nerves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but she's excellent. She can trace the nerve right from like my foot up the side of my leg around my knee, and yeah, it's been really a good thing.
How long have you been doing the acupuncture for that, Tracy?
About 2 months.
And do you this is it? You're going to continue because it just makes you feel so, wow, that is great.
Yeah, I mean, I did massage, chiropractic, yeah, done some herbs too, joint support kind of things from Banyan. But yeah, this is the one thing where I can definitely tell there's a marked difference when I walk out of there.
So good.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And trying different things, but this has really been great. So yeah.
Yes, well, we'll be glad when you're back full time. We'll be glad when you're back full time.
Yeah, I'm working my way there.
Good.
So will
Hi.
all of us.
So will Jackie.
I find peekaboo.
That lady.
I'm everywhere. Have a good class, everybody.
Jackie.
Okay, well, why don't we get started? Does anybody have any questions about anything before I mute all? No, we're all good. Okay. And let's see. Zoom has a thing now where it's going to tell you that it's recording the class, so you don't need to be stressed about that. That's just something that we usually do here for folks who aren't able to attend live. Alrighty. So tonight we're going to do something a little different. This is gentle yoga and Vedic prayers. So I've been trying some different things now. I did the history of yoga class in April. That was a lot of fun, and that was a topic I hadn't done before. So I'm kind of enjoying exploring my interest in presenting them to you. We're going to focus tonight on 10 postures and 10 mantras. So when we think of our yoga postures, we always think of them in a physical way, right? There's a certain way that it affects our muscles, our joints, but they also have a pranic or energetic effect on us as well. And part of that comes from the shape of the body. So we're going to think about how the shape of the body tonight enlivens energy, enlivens prana in the body. So when we use the shape of the body to conduct pranic energy or to move energy through the body, it's called mudra. So you may have heard this word before, mudra. There are hand mudras for meditation. So you might know holding your hands like this in meditation, right? This is Jnana mudra. This is the lotus mudra for meditation. So there are different ways that we could hold our hands as well. And these are all mudra, okay? So we're going to think about the energetic part of holding a posture. And we'll be holding these a little longer than we normally do in a hatha class. So it'll be a little bit more of a yin yoga type approach. Okay. And then the mantras also work on an energetic level. So I really like the idea of coupling postures or mudra with mantra. And the mantras work on an energetic level mentally as we think about what they mean. And they also work on, again, an energetic level via the vibration, via the sound of the mantra. Okay. And so we're going to kind of couple this inner work with the energy of the full moon. Okay, so we know that the full moon has an energetic effect on the macrocosm, all right, on animals, on plants, on the tides in the ocean. And we can kind of tap into that elevated energy in a good way by doing our yoga practice, or we can let it get us kind of off balance, all right? So we're going to be kind of channeling that outer subtle energy as well. Our mantras tonight will mostly come from the Vedas and the Upanishads, though I've peppered in a couple other prayers that I like as well. So the Vedas are the most ancient spiritual literature of all humanity that we still have preserved today. So when we speak these mantras, when we listen to these mantras, we are spanning back in time at least 3,500 years, but luckily are likely much further back than that. So there are scholars who propose that the hymns from the Rig Veda may be 5,000 years old or 8,000 years old. And they're also said to come of divine origin. So what that means is that no human being sat down and wrote these mantras. They were revealed. So the rishis, or the ancient seers, sat in a deep state of meditation and they heard these mantras. Okay, so they are very ancient, very powerful mantras. And then we also have some prayers from the Upanishads. So the Upanishads are the philosophical writings that came after the Vedas, though they're still considered part of the Vedic literature. And they are very beautiful, very profound writings on the philosophy of life. Okay. So that's what we're going to be listening to today as part of our practice. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing then is I'm going to be showing you the posture, and then I'll be sitting back up to talk and to say our mantras. So you don't need to sit back up. I'll show you where to be. And with that being said, we're doing the best we can to stay in the posture. And sometimes it gets a little uncomfortable, and that's okay. We try to let go of that. Okay, and just stay with the sensations we're feeling in the body. However, if the posture starts to hurt, you need to adjust it. Okay, so just knowing that difference between feeling like you want to wiggle versus being extremely uncomfortable. Okay, so if it becomes uncomfortable, come out, wiggle around a little bit. That's fine. Okay, all right. So our first posture is going to be a supported shavasana. So if you do have a bolster, that's probably ideal. If you have a stack of beach towels or blankets that you could stack maybe about 6 inches high, or you might know the technique for rolling a Mexican blanket into a tube. The idea is that we're going to be in shavasana in a heart opening kind of posture. Okay, so I'm going to move back to my mat so you can see me. And if you have any questions about anything we're doing, feel free to just put your mic on. Keep the mute all on just because it cuts down on background noise, but it's perfectly acceptable to jump in. All right, so for the supported shavasana, you may have done this posture before in a yoga class. If you haven't, the idea is that we take the stack of blankets or we take the bolster, we bring it behind us so it just touches the back of the pelvis, and then we're going to lie down over it. There shouldn't be any space here in my lower back. So the bolster or the blankets is fully supporting the spine. Okay, if you have a gap there where you can stick your hand in, you're going to start to get an achy back. And for most people, this feels really good, but not for everyone. So if having the support underneath you isn't good, feel free to move into Shavasana right on the floor. So setting up your position. Ideally, we have the shoulders rolled open, the backs of the hands resting on the floor alongside. And you might pick up your head for a moment and take a look at your toes, and then bring your head back down on the bolster with a long neck. So the chin is tucked just a little bit. And then let your eyes close and allow your awareness to come inside your body. So just get a sense of what you're feeling like, how you're holding your body this evening. And if you discover there's any places of gripping or tension, if you could just suggest to your body to let go a little bit. So soften those spaces inside of you. And you might start to feel that you are heavier on your support. So you're being even more supported by the floor underneath you, by the bolster or blankets under your back. And there's a sense of sinking in. And then start to notice how you're breathing. I always like to do this first without fixing it. So just notice how the breath is moving. And then with your awareness down in your navel center, start to draw a long, deep belly breath. So as you inhale, you feel the abdomen filling, the sides of the waist expanding. And take your time. Allow the belly to fill. And then nice and slow, we're allowing that breath out through the nostrils and relaxing a little more deeply. So feeling sensation in your body and paying attention to your breath. And keeping these two qualities in your mind. First thing I'm going to read for you is a creation myth from the Rig Veda. This is called the Nasadiya Sutta. So to understand this sutta, or hymn, it would be good to know that the Vedic people had a pantheon of gods. Okay, so much like the Romans or Greeks, they had many gods who had many different qualities. But what's very unique about this mantra in the Rig Veda is that it also speaks of a transcendental consciousness called the One. So this idea of the One, or a transcendental God, will appear later in the Upanishads as Brahman. At first was neither being nor non-being. There was not air yet, nor yet sky beyond. What was its wrapping? Where? In whose protection? Was water there, unfathomable and deep? There was no death then, nor yet deathlessness. Of night or day, there was not any sign. The One breathed without breath by its own impulse. Other than that, there was nothing else at all. Darkness was there, all wrapped around by darkness, and all was water indiscriminate. Then, that which was hidden by the void, that One emerging, stirring through the power of ardor, came to be. In the beginning, love arose. which was the primal germ cell of the mind. The seers, searching in their hearts with wisdom, discovered the connection of being and non-being. A crosswise line cut being from non-being. What was described above it? What below? Bearers of the seed there were, and many forces, thrust from below and forward to move above. Who really knows? Who can presume to tell it? Whence was it born? Whence issued this creation? Even the gods came after its emergence. Then who can tell from whence it came to be? That out of which creation has arisen, whether it held it firm or did not, he who surveys in the highest heaven, he surely knows. Or maybe he does not. So I love that last line, right? There's still, even in the story of creation, some mystery. So the one knows, or maybe he does not. So this was a longer one, so I did it in English. We'll do the rest of them in Sanskrit as well. So let's take a moment now and bring the heels of our hands to the forehead. And we're going to press the heels of the hands into the forehead and draw some circles. Draw these circles down the temples, just relaxing any tension in the face. We can take the pointer finger and middle finger of each hand, place them between the eyebrows, and then let's draw the fingers down the sides of the nose, out across the cheekbones to the soft space in the ear. And then we can bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and just begin tipping your knees from side to side. So waking the body up a little bit. And from here, we're going to come to a seated pose. And we're going to be doing a yin posture that's called dragonfly. In hatha yoga, this is Upavista Konasana, or the open leg forward fold. So if you want to come up on your mat, again, if it's more comfortable, we can have a little cushion, nothing as big as a bolster, or a folded blanket under the sit bones. And let's just bring the legs apart. And then once you're here, we're going to flex and point the toes. And let's roll the ankles. So draw some circles with the big toes. And just drawing our energies now down into the legs and feet. And then we're going to start tipping out over the middle space. So you can walk your hands, come forward, and decide where is the appropriate place for you to hold. Okay, so you may come forward just a little bit, and that might be enough. If you're coming down a little further, we might have a bolster here, something that you can support the weight of your head. So I could have a bolster between the legs. I could rest my face and my hands, or I could stack fists and rest my forehead on my fists. So just take a few moments to find your dragonfly. Okay. And again, being in a place where the stretch is deep, but there's no pain. And we're going to be listening to another mantra from the Vedas. This is the Gayatri mantra to the sun as creator. So this is a Vedic chant from the Rig Veda, book 10. And probably the most famous of the Vedic mantras. So this mantra is to the sun as creator. And this is one of the most sacred and popular mantras in India. It is traditionally repeated up to 3 times at the joints of the day. So at sunrise, noon, and sunset. Om Bhur Bhuvaha Swaha. So this is the opening line, and it is called the Great Utterance or Mahavakya. Mahavakya, Great Utterance. Ur means earth. So now in your posture, feel the ground underneath you. Feel the places where your sit bones touch, your heels touch. Feel the place where your head is resting. And also feel the sense of earth in your body. Right? So our body is made up of muscles and bones. And this physical heaviness of earth. Uvaha, atmosphere. So now feel the space surrounding you. Feel the air that touches your skin. Swaha, heavens. So now being aware of that which is beyond the body, beyond the earth. Om Bhur Bhuvaha Swaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. That most excellent light. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. We meditate on that divine light. Diyo Yona Prachodayat. May it guide our thoughts. So this is both a homage to the sun in the external world, but also to the light within us. And we meditate on that light. And we ask that light to guide our thoughts. Om Bhurbuvaha Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbuvaha Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbuvaha Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. So for a few more breaths now, just resting in this posture, feeling the breath move. And we might get the feeling of gravity gently pressing on the back, releasing us down a little more. Take 2 long breaths now. And then as you start to get ready to come out, your hands can help you start to walk back towards your body. And then removing any props that are between the legs, placing them over to the side. And let's use our hands to help the legs come back together. So you can start to move into a staff pose. Feel good to slowly, gently wiggle your toes, move your ankles, rock the legs. And then we're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and again, tip the knees. So just like you did when you're on your back, gentle rocking motion. And then we're going to bring this into a twist. So when the knees drop to your left, we'll bring the right arm across the body and look over the left shoulder. Back to neutral, knees drop right, left arm across the body, look over your right shoulder. And just keep moving from side to side. And it might feel good to move a little quickly, or you might enjoy holding the twist position. Yeah, now bringing energy up the back. So the dragonfly is a pretty intense forward bend. And what goes very nicely after a long held forward bend is a back bend. So from here, we're going to move into our Sphinx position, and we won't be holding Sphinx as long. The idea then is that you're going to be on your belly with your forearms parallel, elbows under the shoulders. So this is one of my very favorite back bends. And it's just like this. So if there's too much squeezing in the lower back, if it's uncomfortable, you can come a little lower by bringing your elbows out and the head and shoulders a little closer to the floor. If you're up here with your elbows under your shoulders and it's okay, you can bring your heels in and give the lumbar spine even a little more of a squeeze. As we hold our Sphinx pose, we're going to move now to a prayer from the Upanishads. And this is one of the prayers of the tradition, of the Himalayan tradition. This is called the Asato Ma. And in this prayer, the word Gamaya means lead me. So when I say Gamaya at the end of each line, and you think about lead me, you might think about opening your heart a little more. So shoulders back and the heart lifts a little at Gamaya. And the first line says, lead me from the unreal. And the unreal is Asat to the real, Sat. The second line says, lead me from darkness, which is Tamas, to the light, Jyotir. The third line says, lead me from mortality, which is Mrityor. Mrityor means death, right? Final death. To immortality, Amritam. Amritam is place of eternal life. Okay. Asato ma sad gamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. We'll do that one more time. Asato ma sat gamaya, tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then from here, if you have your heels up, you can lower your lower legs. And we're going to start to walk ourselves through table into a child's pose. Okay. So you're in Sphinx pose, you can push up into table and just walk yourself back to your child's pose. And you can have your head on a block if that's more comfortable. So in child's pose, let's have the head resting. And take a few breaths here, especially focusing on bringing that breath into the lower back. Okay, so the Sphinx pose gives us a good squeeze in the lumbar spine, which is very good for the tissues, the discs in the low back. But now we recreate that space. So breathing into the lower back. And then when you're ready, you can push yourself back up into table, and we're going to do some hip rotations. So from table, we will step the hands out, maybe about a foot, and just start to bring the hips in a rotation. Good. And let's do about 5 circles in each direction. So you can bend your elbows if that helps you sink in a little deeper. And we've done 5 one way. You can switch and do 5 the other way. And the next position that we're going to be in is going to be either the open heart pose, which is a yin yoga pose on a hatha, or an open child's pose. So I want you to pick which is more restful for you. Okay. So the open heart pose, the thighs stay perpendicular to the floor. And I'm going to come down on my forearms and place my forehead down. Okay. The open child's pose, my big toes touch, my knees open, and I sink into that space between the thighs. Okay, and feel free maybe to try both. You might not know the open heart pose as much. And if you find the open child's pose is pretty good, but it could use a support, you can grab a couple of your blankets or even your bolster. So I could do an open child's pose where my knees kind of hold the bottom of the bolster. And I'm laying my head down on the bolster. So open child's pose was one of my favorites, but now my knees don't like it anymore. So doing a lot of sitting on the floor with my legs straight. So take a couple moments to find your posture. And the next prayer that I'd like to read for you is actually not from the Vedas or the Upanishads. This is the morning prayer by Sri Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya was a teacher and a sage from the 8th century. And he's a very important teacher in this tradition. And this is just such a pretty prayer that I wanted to share it with you. So this is a prayer that one might say upon waking, though I think it is good anytime. And there's 4 stanzas. And the first says, and I will tell you the translation in English, and then we'll hear it in Sanskrit. At dawn, I meditate upon that which shines in the heart as the self, the truth. That which is existence, consciousness, and bliss. That which is the goal of the great sages. That which is the transcendent reality. I am that eternal Brahman, which is blemishless and knows the 3 states of waking, dreaming, and sleep, and not just an aggregate of elements. Prata smarami hridisam spuradatmatatvam satchit sukham parama hamsagatim turiyam yatswapna jagara shishu timavaiti nityam tad brahmanish kalamaham Nachabhuta Sangaha. At dawn, I sing the praise of that which is unreachable for the mind and words, but by whose grace all words shine. That which the scriptures indicate by the words neti neti, not this, not that. The foremost God of gods, they say, is unborn and unchanging. Pratar bhajami manasam vachasam agamyam vacho vibanti nikila Yadanugrahena Yaneti neti vachanair Nigama vocham Tam deva devamajam Achutam ahur agriam. At dawn I bow to that which is called the highest, the person whose hue is the color of the rays of the sun streaming through the darkness, that which is the ancient goal, the remainderless form in which this entire world shines, like a serpent coiled like a rope. Pratanamami tamasaha param argavarnam purnam sanatana padam purusho tamakyam yasmin idam jagarashesha ashesha murtao rajvam bhujangama iva pratibhasitam vai. He or she who at dawn recites this auspicious triad of verses, an ornament to the three worlds, shall go to the supreme place, moksha, the final goal. Shloka trayam idam punyam, loka traya vibhushanam, pratar kale patyedyastu, sagachet paramam padam. Alrighty, so let's start to bring ourselves up. Again, we're using the arms to help. And we're going to be bringing ourselves up into table. Okay, so if you're in the open heart pose, you're walking your hands back. If you're in an open child's pose, you're walking forward. And as you come to table, let's just start to slowly move through cat and cow. Okay, so after our yin kind of postures where we hold for a while, energy tends to pool. Usually in the joints where we feel the posture the most. And it's good to move a little in between and kind of get that subtle energy circulating through the body. And after a few movements of cat and cow, you could turn your toes under, press back through your right heel. It's just lengthening the back of the leg. And then we'll switch left toes under and press back through the left heel. Again, lengthening the left leg. And then let's just be seated for a moment. So for the next posture, I have two options for you. The one is called swan pose. And swan pose is the yin version of pigeon. Okay, so it's much like pigeon, but it's softer. And we're using the bolster to lie down on with the upper body. That being said, I know pigeon isn't a great pose for everybody. If that doesn't work for your knees or your ankles, the other option is a reclined leg cradle. Okay, so I'm going to show them each quickly. I'm assuming you've probably seen them. But for pigeon pose, what we would do is bring the right knee forward and then rotate the thigh in and slide the left leg back. Okay, so pigeon pose. And then we could take the bolster and we could rest the left cheek on the bolster. Okay. That would be our pigeon. You might also want to support the hip in the back. So you could do that again with a blanket. Okay, so is everybody comfortable with what swan or pigeon entails? Yes. Okay. If it doesn't work for you, and these days it doesn't work for me anymore, another option is the reclined leg cradle, and it gets at the same muscles through the hips and the glutes. And it's even better if you can put your foot on a wall. So our goal here is to kind of relax into these positions. So normally in a reclined leg cradle, you're kind of holding your thigh. If you can find a wall, you don't need to do that. So I'll show you what that would look like. I could bring my left foot flat on the wall like this, and then my right foot would rest above it. And then how close my pelvis is to the wall will determine how strong the posture is. So I'm a little far out now. If I want a little bit more, get a little closer. And then I'd be feeling a lot more in my hip. Okay. And with your foot on a wall or a bookcase, whatever is available to you, my upper body can rest. So our yin type postures, we want to be low effort. Okay. All right, so let's start on the right side. So you're either going to be in your pigeon pose with your right leg forward, thigh rotated inward, or you're going to be in a reclined leg cradle with the right ankle above the left knee. And the activation should be through the right hip, right leg. And we're going to move back now to the Upanishads. And this mantra is called the prayer of completion. And the essence of this prayer is that everything is perfect, meaning that everything is just as it needs to be. Everything is complete. Everything is divine. So even the dark parts of life are as they are supposed to be. So it's also a prayer of deep acceptance. And sometimes it's translated as perfect, and sometimes it's translated as whole, W-H-O-L-E. So I'm going to try the English both ways and see which one you like better. So in English, that is perfect. This is perfect. Perfection arises from the perfect. If something is taken from the perfect, what alone remains is still perfect. Om Purnam Adaha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vavashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And so as you're here, listening to the prayers, relaxing through the right hip, always aware of your breath. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vavashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And so whatever your swan or your leg cradle looks like is perfect. Whatever it feels like is just what it's supposed to feel like. This mantra is an example of divine surrender. And take about 2 more breaths, 2 more long breaths. And then start to get ready to switch sides. So if you're in the swan pose, you may switch sides through down dog if that's how you do it. Or you can just start to work your way up into a table and rotate the left thigh. If you're in a reclined leg cradle, you can take your feet down off the wall for a moment, maybe squeeze the legs into a wind reliever. Have your thighs in, rock a little bit. And now you're getting ready to put your right foot on the wall and your left ankle above it. So take your time. And I'm going to try the prayer of completion, reading it to you with the translation as the word whole. That is whole. This is whole. Wholeness arises from the whole. If something is taken away from the whole, what alone remains is still whole. Or another translation, that is complete. This is complete. Completion arises from the complete. If something is taken from that which is complete, what alone remains is still complete. Peace, peace, peace. And we'll hear the Sanskrit twice. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vavashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Again, letting your awareness be in the place where you feel this most and welcoming the breath into whatever tightness or holding is there. Letting go, letting go. And again, we're going to think about moving out of this nice and slowly. And I'd like to welcome everyone to do a down dog now if you'd like to. So down dog is just a wonderful stretch for the whole back of the body. So if you're in a reclined leg cradle and you want to kind of roll over to your side and come back to hands and knees. Folks who are down in the swan pose, you can walk yourself up to table. Now let's just take a moment now to stretch out the whole body in down dog. And just doing whatever feels good. So that might mean lifting up and down on your toes. It might mean pedaling. It might mean tipping the hips from side to side. Take your time and enjoy this whole body stretch. And when you're done, we're going to come down onto the belly into our crocodile pose. So in crocodile, and again, don't hurry. As you come down onto your belly, you'll be stacking your forearms and resting your forehead on your forearms. So this is just a transitional posture. Okay, so our next mantra is again from the Rig Veda, and this is, along with the Gayatri mantra, one of the most famous mantras. It is the Maha Mrityunjaya mantra. And this is called the Great Death Conquering Mantra, used for healing oneself or at the time of death to release the soul from the body. Okay, so this is a mantra that's very much about building strength. And specifically interior strength. I'm going to read you the English now while you're resting crocodile. And then we're going to come up and we're going to do dragon poses, which are just kind of cool names for lunges, for low lunges. Okay. So in English, this mantra says, we worship the three-eyed one. So this is a mantra to the deity Shiva, who's called the three-eyed one. But we might think about this as the idea of the third eye or consciousness, right? So the third eye is the seat of the mind, the eyebrow chakra, Agya chakra. We worship pure consciousness, who is fragrant and nourishment increasing. And like the cucumber severed from its bondage to the vine, may I release myself from death, not from immortality. And so there's the image in this mantra of being like a cucumber who's bound. So if you can imagine in your garden in the summer when the vine starts to wrap itself around a cucumber, and the cucumber will be kind of strangled, right, to the garden fence. So the idea then is that whether you see it as Shiva or pure consciousness, this fragrant, loving gardener comes and severs that vine. Okay? So it's freedom from fear, freedom from illness. Right? So this mantra is used in Ayurveda for healing, freedom from anything that is binding you, from mental anguish. Okay, and so we're asking pure consciousness to cut the vine, release me. Okay. So if you'd like to start to walk yourself up into table, we're going to come into low lunge. And I'm not very good at this anymore, not these days. So I'm going to show you on my good side. Let's start with the left leg forward. So the left knee is over the left ankle. The right leg is behind, and we're going to walk our toes until it's a low lunge. And then I want you to be comfortable. I'm going to read the mantra 3 times on each side. And it's not that long, but if you're pretty good in a low lunge, you could think about coming to warrior one arms. Okay, so this is a mantra to Shiva, and Virabhadrasana, or warrior pose, is a yoga pose inspired by Shiva. Okay, so your warrior one hands could happen here if you feel strong and supported. If it's not a good place to be, your hands can be on your knee or your hands can be on the floor. Okay. But either way, we're feeling strong in this posture, released, free, heart is open. Okay. I'll do it 3 times in succession. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. So now with your arms overhead or your arms down, take a nice big inhalation into the chest and exhale out the mouth. Good. Okay, and then we're going to switch sides. So if you want to bring your right leg forward, left leg back. Good. And again, in your low lunge, be in a position that's comfortable. If the hands are on the floor, that's fine. If you can come up to your warrior one arms, let's do that. Nice and strong. Lift your heart. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. And then from here, let's bring the arms back down to the floor and transition again into a child's pose. So relaxing the body down, forehead on the floor or on the block, dropping the sit bones back. Okay. Now we're going to do one of my favorite reclined twists. And this one, we're going to move into from the belly. So if you want to come out onto your belly and your arms are going to be out straight from the shoulder joints. So just like you're a letter T. And we're going to start by bringing our head onto the left cheek. And then the right fingertips will tent so that you can push onto your left hip. And then take your right big toe and tap it behind you. Okay, so this is a big opening for the left shoulder as well. If there's too much going on in your left shoulder, you have your arm out behind you, you can kind of slide it closer to your body. Okay. If ever you have a lot of shoulder stuff going on, just bring it back into the front of your body. But otherwise, we're slowly kind of rotating the heart towards the ceiling. And then once you're here, see if you can relax and close your eyes. And we're going to listen here to some bija mantras. So bija mantras are seed mantras. And this comes from the tantric traditions. So again, we're taking a little segue. And we use bija mantras to balance the energy at the chakras. So in this reclined twist, it's very comfortable, but it's also really good at bringing our awareness into the spine. So if you can imagine what your spine is doing in this posture. And we're going to start all the way down at the tailbone or the root. And just rest your awareness at your tail, the base of your spine. And we're going to hear the mantra LUM. So I'm going to start out saying it out loud. And then when I stop, I'd like you to keep it going in your own mind while you focus at your root. Lum, 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 lum. Keep it going. All right, and now draw your awareness up to your pelvic center. So we're right at the space between the two hips. And the mantra here is WUM. WUM, 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 WUM. Keep it going. And now draw your awareness up to the navel center, hearing the mantra RUM. Rum, 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 rum. Okay, keep it going. Just feeling that internal vibration. Rum. And then your awareness moves up into your heart. So at the heart center, the mantra is YUM. Yum, 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 yum. Good. Keep the vibration going at the heart. And something that's different about our bija mantras is they don't specifically have a meaning. They're just pure vibration. So seeds packed with so much energy, bija. And now move up to the throat chakra. Just at that indentation in the collarbone, hearing the mantra hum. Hum, 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 hum. Gotta keep it going. Hum, 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 hum. Vibrating the neck, the throat, the upper chest. And then from there, let's move up to the space between the eyebrows. Mantra here is so hum. So hum, 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 so hum. Good, repeating. So hum, so hum, so hum at the eyebrow center. Allowing the vibration to fill the space of the head, forehead, eyes. And then moving up to the crown. And the crown mantra is Hamsa. Hamsa, 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 Hamsa. Keep the mantra sounding in the crown of the head. Hamsa, 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 Hamsa. Good. And now we're going to think about moving to the other side. So again, coming out nice and slow, you can restack your legs. And then move back onto your belly. Once again, you're in a letter T. And now very gently lift your head, come to resting on the right cheek. Left fingertips tense so that you can roll onto your right hip. Knees bend and the left big toe touches behind the body. Again, you can roll a little bit towards the ceiling if you like. And what we're going to do that's a little bit different now on this side is we're going to breathe up and down the center energy channel. So listening to the bija mantras clears energy at the centers. And now I would like you just to feel your inhalation enter at that root center and travel all the way up along the length of your spine to the crown of your head. And then exhale from the crown of your head down to the pelvic floor. So just relaxing in. And with every inhalation, we feel that we're drawing this fresh prana, fresh energy up the length of the spine. And with every exhale, relaxing. And just paying attention to what you're feeling as you breathe. Two more long breaths. And then when you're ready, you can start to again, straighten your legs and move back into your letter T. Back onto the belly. And then from here, we're going to come over onto our backs. Okay, so this is our last yin position. We're going to do a happy baby. So in the happy baby position, you're lying on your back on the floor. And if you can, you're going to bring the hands up the inside of the legs and see if you can hold the arches of the feet. Okay, so if you can do that and your shoulders are still comfortable, we're holding the inside of the foot. Okay, if that's causing straining or reaching or neck squeezing, instead you can hold your ankles. You can hold behind your knees. Okay. And at first it's fun and happy baby to kind of move around. That's the happy baby part of it. Right? We've been doing a lot of holding things for a long time. So go ahead and move around a bit in your happy baby. So we might roll out the lower back, press up through heels, might let the thighs open, stretching the inner thighs. And then we might try holding it. So if it works for holding the insides of the arches or holding, and the idea is that your hands, your arms are becoming very heavy, drawing the knees down. Eyes stay closed. Chin is tucked a little bit, so you're resting right on the back of your head and there's no strain. So this is our 10th mantra tonight. This is the peace prayer from the Yajur Veda. May peace radiate there in the whole sky, as well as in the vast ethereal space everywhere. May peace reign all over this earth, in water and in all herbs, trees, and plants. May peace flow over the whole universe. May peace be in the divinity around us and within us. And may there always exist in all peace and peace alone. Om peace, peace, peace to us and to all beings. Om Dyauhau Shantirantiriksham Shantihi. Prithvi Shantirapaha Shantir Oshadaya Shantihi. Vanaspatyaha Shantir Vishvedevaha Shantir Brahma Shanti. Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti. Sama Shantiredi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right. So now we're going to move into our relaxation position. So before you move into Shavasana, if there's any one last thing you would like to do, movement or quick posture. So take 2 or 3 minutes and kind of finish your physical practice. If there's anything your body's asking for before you're ready to move into your relaxation position. And when you do move there, make sure you're warm. Make sure that You've kind of subdued the lighting as best you can. I'm going to take the big lights down here. Okay, so 2 or 3 minutes and we'll be in Shavasana. And once you're there, shoulders are rolled open, backs of the hands are resting on the floor. Eyes are closed. Maybe you can remember what it felt like to be in this posture in the beginning of class with the support under your spine. So that feeling of the shoulder blades together and the heart open. Again, a drawing into awareness, the whole body. And usually after the yin type practice, it's very easy to feel your body from the inside because that's pretty much what you've been doing. Right? So it's a very meditative kind of yoga. And then thinking again of that great utterance from the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvaha Swaha. So Bhur, feeling the earth below you. Bhuvaha, feeling the atmosphere or space all around you. Swaha, feeling the great mystery of life that is within us all. Om Bhur Bhuvaha Swaha. Kind of members of all three of these worlds. The world within, the world around us, and the world beyond. So relax now across your forehead. Soften the space around your eyes. Across your cheekbones. Relax your jaw. And just allowing the teeth to part a little bit. Move around the sides of your head. The back of your head. Relax at the crown. And then softening into the sides of your neck, the back of your neck. Release your throat. Softening across the chest, into shoulder joints and upper back. Relax your arms, your elbows, lower arms and wrists. Soften your hands. And as you relax all your fingers, you feel the fingers curl just a little bit. And you might feel resting in the palms of your hands, warm energy. And now imagine that as you inhale, you could draw that warm energy from the palms of your hands to your heart center. And as you exhale, The breath moves from the heart center down the arms and out through the hands. So we'll bring that to the locus of the fingertips. Inhale through your fingertips, draw the breath to the heart. Exhale from the heart, down the arms and out through the fingertips. Again, from the Gayatri mantra, Tat Savitur, that divine light. So imagine that you're drawing light into the heart. And there's a beautiful white light filling the whole space of the heart. Bhurbuvaha swaha, tat savitur varenyam, bhargo devasya vitnimahi, yo yona prachodayat. So asking this light at the heart to guide our thoughts, guide our lives. And now move into the sides of your rib cage. Relax into the sides of your waist. Down between shoulder blades. Lower back. Softening your belly. And just observing how the belly rises on the inhalation and falls on the exhalation. And now see if you can soften at the abdomen just a little more. Let go, let go. Relaxing down into hip joints, the muscles in the thighs, knee joints, ankle joints, out into your feet, the arches of your feet, all the little joints in your toes. And then from the tips of your toes, start to slowly bring yourself back up the length of your body. So moving back up the legs, letting go, the knees, letting go, thighs, hips, and traveling up the center line of the body, so right along the spine. And maybe having the feeling that each vertebra is dropping into the floor. Moving all the way to the crown of the head. Now let's transition to our seated posture. So we're going to move from lying down to our meditation posture. Again, if you want to stay on your back, you can, as long as you don't fall asleep. But otherwise, I would advise we move up to our cross-legged seated posture or sitting in a chair. Now in your seated posture, feel your shoulders balanced over your hips. The weight of your head balanced over your shoulders. And feel the movement of breath in the nostrils. So one thing that I think is just so lovely about looking at our mantras from the Vedas, the Upanishads, is that these are prayers, hymns from thousands and thousands of years ago, and from people who lived a very different life than we do now. And yet the same ideas are there, same ideas that speak to us here in America in 2021. So the ideas of love, freedom, freedom from suffering, connection, looking for explanations for things. They still resonate as part of our human story. And I think feeling that bond with antiquity is very, very comforting, very grounding. So as you feel that movement now in your nostrils, and maybe you feel joined energetically with the whole world of meditators, you'll hear as the breath moves into the nose. So, and as the breath moves out, inhaling. So, exhaling. So I am that. I am that Brahman, not just a collection of elements. I am that transcendental consciousness. And just allowing the mind to relax into that vibration. Soften your eyes, soften your forehead. A life where we're always doing things, feel yourself just being. Just resting in yourself. And this is perfect. Pranamada. Pranamida. This is complete. This is whole. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And now allowing the sound of your mantra to go. Start to breathe a little deeper, start to move the body. And we can gently warm our hands. Bring your hands over your eyes. And allow your eyes to open to the darkness of your hands. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. And a little experiment into something new, but it was very, very fun.
It was
Preparing.
beautiful. It was just beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was lovely. I so enjoyed having the mantras with the posture and holding, and especially the rum, rum, rum,
Yes.
lum, lum. You
The
can really
piece
feel
of
the
mantras, yeah,
vibration.
they're
That's
wonderful.
great, Tracy.
So good. Good night, everyone.
Oh, good
Good
night.
night.
Good night, Paul.
Tracy, will you be able to email those mantras?
I'm sorry, who just asked that? Adrian?
I did.
Yes, yes, they're from the Bhuta Shuddhi practice. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, definitely email them. If I forget, just message me. Hey,
Okay.
yeah, they go right into the Bhuta Shuddhi practice. So
I
s-
like that. I
Yeah.
know the Gayatri mantra and the I can't pronounce it, but it's the death one. I've
yeah,
been doing that a lot. I memorized that one. I think I reached out to you for how to pronounce it, and I've actually been practicing that one quite often.
oh, good, good.
They're really
That's-
beautiful too.
Nurse and the healing
Yeah.
profession.
Yeah, with my
Good
patients
choice.
and
Good.
everything. So I like that one. But all of them were beautiful.
Yeah, I know. We find a couple I think that really resonate with us, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
all lovely.
I especially like the one with peace, the theme of peace, and it was peace to all beings in the world. Where you said where it was from? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Yeah, that one's from the Yajur Veda. So there are 4 different Vedas, right? When we say the Vedas, we mean all 4. So the Rig Veda is the oldest one, and that's where the Gayatri, the Mahamrityunjaya come from. The Yajur Veda, and they're all from antiquity, but it's just a little newer recitation. Yeah, but if you want a copy of it, Colleen, I'll try to remember, but email me. I have all of this now typed up, which is really nice. Like, give me a chance to
Yeah.
put everything in one place, because normally they're here and there. And
Exactly, I know. Or tucked into books. Oh, I'm very good at that.
oh yeah, just make a good bookmark. Yeah, no, anything that you want, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
This is a great,
Yep.
great
You.
experience.
Good. Maybe we'll do it live someday. That'd be even nicer.
Yeah.
Getting there little by little.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Yes.
I know. I hope so.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.